Welcome. This is King Mumbles holding court with King Mumbles, where we do live stream interviews with entrepreneurs, artists, entertainers, and there's other people in endeavors that interest me. We do got another interview right now. This one's going to be a little bit different as most of them are entertainers. We do got an entrepreneur that has a very unique niche. So we are introducing Miss Kathleen Johnson. How are you doing there today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. So why don't you introduce yourself, tell everybody who you are and what you do?
Yeah. So my name's Kathleen Johnson, and I'm in the diversity, equity, and inclusion space, anti-racism space. I mainly consider myself an educator and a holder of space for conversation. So that's mainly what I do, and I started doing it during the pandemic. So I have a background. I have a degree in sociology and cultural anthropology, but I never really used it much. I kind of went my own little way. I'm not an artist because I spent years in film and television in Toronto.
Mhm.
Um, but I got into this space during the pandemic because I saw how the conversation needed some more nuance and more critical thinking. It was very emotionally charged, especially after the death of George Floyd. So I put my toe in, and then it led to me being actually officially in this space. So I started my firm, and now I also work for the provincial government. So this is what I do. I help organizations conceptualize DEI and have these conversations.
Okay, so you work with the government and then you also have your own business and like where you will partner with different companies.
Yeah, so I do partner with a few different other organizations with my own firm, and that's what I do for them. I help them hold space for these conversations with who their clients are, and
Okay.
so I bring that expertise to what they do.
Okay, and how did you like go about like because it is something kind of new. Like how did you go about starting it and structuring it and like offering like is there like a course you can take or how did you
Yeah, yeah, good
yeah.
question. Yeah, so when I was off, I was looking for how do I actually really get into this space? I was actually trying to get into this space for a little while, but could never really fit into it because I don't have a human resources background. I don't have an organizational development background. So I was like, I know I can do this. So how do I get into it? And so I started seeing courses online, and I went on LinkedIn, and I was following some people that do this work, and I was like, what did they take? And so I looked
Mm.
in their bios and saw the courses they took, and I took the same one. So I went online, and of course during the pandemic everybody was offering their courses online. So I took one through Cornell University and got a certificate in DEI through them, and that's how I started with getting the credentials.
Okay. So how have you found the reception of you doing this and offering this new service there?
Um, for the most part, people reach out to me. I haven't had to do a lot of advertising, um, just because of my work beforehand, politically or being outspoken on issues already. It was like a natural. segue into doing this. So people were already there asking. I'm not saying like people were beating my door down, but there was already that ask, and so it was like word of mouth and then word of mouth kind of thing.
Okay. And did you like have experience like doing like your own business beforehand, or was that something new as well?
Actually, running a small business wasn't new for me. I had tried a few ventures before. When I was a makeup artist, I was independent. And
Okay.
then I also started a business with coaching, personal coaching. I'm a certified coach as well. And yeah, I've had like little run-ins with business before, but I'm a single mom. I had like five little ones, so it wasn't easy to sustain entrepreneurship at that point. But yeah, I've tried business before.
Okay. And what do you think would be like the biggest lesson that you've learned doing the um diversity, equity, and inclusion? What has been your
That's a
biggest
really good
takeaway?
question. I think the biggest thing that I've learned is to not get too attached to what people take away from it. In saying that, I mean, a lot of practitioners will hold themselves responsible for whether people actually take away something from the concepts and learn and whatnot. I detach myself from that because it's such a lifelong journey and process that I can't know when you come out of a workshop what you're actually able to take away and absorb and apply. I hope that I'm giving you tools, but it's largely work that's up to the person. So, yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of what I can only do so much. And I think the more that I've invested in myself and realized I'm not responsible for holding everything that everybody gets from it, then I think that's the biggest thing I've learned.
Okay. And so what would you say would be your most difficult hurdle that you would have while you're doing these?
I think it's difficult when you have to hold space for a large group and everybody's at different points. So you have some people that have done some background work and they are familiar with concepts, and then you have people that are at the very, very beginning and they've never even talked about race. They've never talked about misogyny or any of these issues. So it's a new conversation for them. And I think that's the balance is not you have to also challenge the person that's a little more advanced, but you also have to be aware that people are just beginning this.
Have you like confronted any like serious like emotion like pushback and like getting people upset about you bringing these into the workplace or anything like that, or
We deal a lot with tears in our sessions. I can tell you that. Um, I have been on the firing line myself with somebody who, let's say, has even shown interest and reached out for my services, but then they've grilled me. They've grilled me about DEI, or they've grilled me about even my beliefs. Or so, yeah, you do encounter that. I think I'm pretty good with dealing with that because I grew up with a lot of overt racism. So it
okay.
kind of has given me a thicker skin in that regard.
So how is the process of somebody wanting to work with you? Like how does a program get formed to know? what they're looking for and what you can do for them? What is your process of working with people?
Well, first I have what's called a discovery call. And so that's if somebody's looking for whatever they're looking for, if they're looking for a workshop, if they're looking for, I don't like doing one off workshops, but I will if it's established that it's kind of a door in or it's the first step in a path of learning. So it's the discovery call is the first thing. We talk about what's the need? Why are you bringing me in? Is there did the need for a diversity and inclusion professional come about because of an incident? That's really important to know because it helps you to understand what you're walking into. Um, and so after that, then it's having that first session and seeing what is going on, and they let you know we need a plan or we need a roadmap, or like they'll talk to you and let you know, but usually it's that first conversation, and then we set the game plan from there.
Okay. And what how would you explain like or your message for people on diversity, equity and inclusion there? What would be like the main statement of how you would break that down for people?
Well, I mean, diversity is a fact. We live with it everywhere. The globe is diverse. There's all kinds of people on the planet. Even though it might seem like in your town or in your city, there's hardly any different kinds of people. It's not a reality in the world. So that's the first thing. Diversity is just a fact. Um, and equity, how I usually break down equity is just meeting the needs of people. It's not really saying that you're for the saying that you are somebody that treats everybody equally is great, but it doesn't really go the distance to providing what people need to fully participate in society. So that's what equity is. And inclusion is actually making sure that everybody's voices are heard at the table. So if you are in a room and you're like, okay, we're having this discussion about this community, but nobody from this community is here, then that's your opportunity to make sure that folks are more included.
Okay. And so is with this being new, um like what do you always have to prove yourself, or like do they trust like the certifications as valid, or how does the business world usually treat you guys with this endeavor?
That's a good question. I haven't had anybody act like my certifications weren't valid. I have a valid degree from an established university. I have DEI certification from established organizations. So on that note, I'm okay. I think what tends to happen is, yes, there's always an aspect as somebody who's marginalized of proving yourself over and over again. That never goes away because people can tend to think that you're speaking from personal lived experience because we still don't understand these things as systemic. And we still don't understand that, yes,
Mhm.
DEI as a corporate program is new, but human rights and civil rights is not new. And that's the basis of this work. So I think that once you look at it from that viewpoint, I haven't experienced a ton of pushback because I think people kind of understand why they want you to come in. Um, However, they could be the only person that wants you to come in, and they could be facing backlash themselves. They could be actually taking all of that because maybe their board or their organization doesn't want to do DEI work, and maybe they do. So I think usually I'm not really in that position where I'm facing vitriol or blowback like myself. but it happens. It can happen.
Okay. And how connected you was through a lot of your social media um, activity there. So you seem to be very active on the social media front. Do you have like a planned goal on what you want to do with your social media, or is it just to promote, or what is your plan? What is your goal on how you handle your social media?
Yeah, I do have goals. I hit one recently where I just want to get to 1,000 followers on TikTok so I can go live, and I can have live conversations and connect directly to my audience. So that's happened. Have I gone live yet? Not yet, because I've been so busy doing other things. But I do have goals. However, I haven't hinged a lot of like my esteem or a lot of my success on reaching social media numbers, because it's not really indicative of what you can do as a professional. So I've tried not to let it impact me that much to that point. I will be starting on YouTube myself, actually. So that's
Mhm.
exciting, and I think I can reach a whole new audience there and have a different level of interaction. But I like social media. A lot of people don't. I'm somebody that enjoys it. So yeah, I have goals with it for sure.
So, what are you going to be doing like on YouTube? Is it like a podcast show, live stream? Do you know yet,
Yeah.
or
Yeah, it's going to be interviews, and it's going to be about. I'm actually going to be interviewing creative professionals because, with my own firm, Creative Culture Strategies, that's what it's based on: is injecting creativity into introducing DEI into organizations. So
okay?
the basis of my guests are going to be people that are creative, whether they're politicians or they are actual artists. If you have some kind of creative background or some kind of creative acumen, those are going to be my guests. And then sometimes it'll just be myself.
Okay. So the creative culture, that is your firm that you partner with the other businesses under.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So you did say that you were involved in creative things. So break down, what creative endeavors did you used to involve in, like writing, acting?
Yeah.
What things? Yeah.
I've written my entire life. So I've always written stories and I've always written poetry. I rapped when I was younger. I was the lead of a rap group, of a band. Um, and I have, what else have yeah, I was a makeup artist for a very long time. And I worked in film and television. So I worked on major productions and a lot of independent films. Like I've worked on Suicide Squad, I've worked on Suits, Beauty and the Beast. So I had a nice run in Toronto working in film, and yeah, I've discovered recently that I like painting. So I'm as a creative person, I'm just open. I don't say I do this. This is what I am. I just let myself be creative in any way.
Okay, so you just like to express yourself creatively.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So like a question I like to ask especially business people is, if there was one thing that you've learned over doing this business that you wish you knew at the beginning, what would it be?
Get a mentor. I never had mentors. I was just throwing spaghetti at the wall and hoping it would stick and doing a lot on my own. And I think I would have I would have gotten a mentor. I think that would have saved me a lot of grief and a lot of wasted time and money.
Okay. True, you can always learn from other people who've gone ahead of you. Okay, so in your bio, you specifically said that like you were a hip hop fan. So with that, I have to ask you, who is your top five rappers?
Ooh, Drake,
Okay,
J. Cole, the big three: Drake, J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar. Um, and then it would be Black Thought,
nice.
and
Yep.
then I think rounding out the top five, like a Most Def or something like that, or an Andre
Okay.
3000.
Okay. Okay. Pretty solid list. Pretty solid list. Can't really complain on that. And um, so what is your short-term goals with your or your firm, and the long-term goals, like the next 5, 10 years? Where do you see this going to? Um, is DEI always going to be needed? Are you going to be gaining extra skills? Where is your journey going?
Short-term goals, right now I'm in the process of, I've rebranded, and so I rebranded. I was operating under a different name, KMJ Coaching and Consulting. So I have rebranded for the more creative aspect of it. So my main goal is to see this rebranding through. It's a new website. It's a whole new approach. I'm working on a master class right now, and so that's going to be something that's an intensive class that you can take over like a couple days. So we can deep dive into things. It's for working professionals, busy people. And yeah, so this year I'm setting that up. I'm finishing writing a book about corporate creativity in corporate, doing DEI work. And so when that's finished, what I want to be doing is speaking and touring with the book. Um, and so I think the future of what I'm going to be doing with my business long term is more of the traveling and speaking and writing. And
Okay.
then with DEI, where I see it going is I see a lot of the pushback right now swinging right back. I don't see it going away because business wise, it just wouldn't be smart. And business people, they're always assessing their risks. They're always trying to mitigate risk, and DEI is a big part of risk mitigation for companies. So I don't see it going away.
Okay. Okay. So thank you very much. Those are all the questions that I have now. Do you want to tell people where to find you and where to connect with you?
Yeah, sure. For now, the best place you can connect with me is on my social media. So I'm on Instagram as at Creative KMJ, and also on TikTok by the same name. And I'm on LinkedIn under my name, Kathleen Johnson. So people connect with me a lot on those three channels. And my website, which is under construction, is www.creativeculturestrategies.com. And creative is spelled Kreativ.
Is that just because your name starts with a K, or
That's
just wanted
because
to
my
be?
name starts with a K.
Okay. We'll definitely have all of those links when we redo the description, so you'll be able to find her, connect with her. If you work at somewhere and you're in HR and you believe that this will help your organization, definitely connect with her and see what exactly you guys can do together. Thank you very much for coming. Like I I online get in a lot of these discussions, like literally like all day today. I've been literally arguing with a friend of mine who's white, who's trying to say that there's no more racism.
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that. So I like, I get into these debates with people. So I like to have educated people, spotlighted that can actually discuss these types of situations.
Yeah, not surprising. Get all kinds of things that people think is the case, and so it's just being patient, having conversations, and reality is reality. Either they're gonna catch on now or catch on later.
Yes, definitely. Well, thank you very much, Kathleen, creative. Thank you very much for coming through, and I do appreciate this there. And best of luck for you in the future. And I'll definitely check out when your YouTube comes up, and we'll share that stuff as well.
Thank you so much. Have a good one.
Thank you very much, y'all. Thank you very much.